Watch Dr. Drew's new show at 9 on HLN. Weeknights on HLN.
A 16-day-old baby is gone. Memories for his mom are sealed in her heart and in her mind. Now, she told the hospitals, and I assume the doctors too, not to take pictures of her child, and yet she received 120 images in the mail. The baby's mother, Heather Worth, is back with us. And looking at that picture, I get so sad because she seems so joyous in that picture. We're also joined with her attorney. His name is Eric Dieters. Oh, Heather, yeah, I'm so sorry for you. I was looking at that picture of you with the baby, and you look so joyous. And I know, I've dealt with a lot of moms, and these losses are just, it's something that you have to learn to kind of live with. And I'm sure the hospital bereavement team was well-meaning, and I think you can understand why some mothers would want pictures, right?
I can't, but I had him for 16 days, and I had what I wanted. I don't know why anybody would want these photographs.
No, listen, I think anyone listening and hearing your story would be able to empathize with what you're feeling as well, okay? But what I'm trying to sort of understand is what happened here. I imagine it's a bereavement team. Eric, I'm going to go to you. I imagine it's a bereavement team. This is some sort of practice they have of offering these pictures. Some mothers must want them, but it seems like they made a major gaffe along the way here. Is that an easy way to summarize it?
Absolutely. This hospital is generally a great hospital. But what happened here is quite simply something that we call outrage. It's the same in any state across the United States. Outrage being something that happens that shocks the conscience. In other words, everybody goes, oh my goodness. And what they do here in the state of Ohio, they have a very specific statute. It's called abuse of a corpse. And what they did in this particular case is they took this wonderful child, Joey, who was deceased, and they put him in poses, and they did all of these things against her wishes. But it's really worse than that. And the reason why it's worse than that is we found out that the photographs were apparently printed at Walgreens. They were sent to Walgreens through the internet. The people that picked them up and sent them to Walgreens, their names, we have no idea who they are and who they're connected to at the hospital. So what Heather's having to deal with now is that the pictures of her deceased child are out there in cyberspace. And I understand that there's a sick group of society, for example, that there's actually a market for these type of photographs. So this doesn't mean the hospital's a bad hospital.
I don't want to even go there. That's almost too much for me. Let's just stay with the gaffe that the hospital made, because poor Heather, she looks sort of shattered enough by this to amplify it to, the possibilities. I don't want to take it that far. But you know what? But here's the thing. I was talking to somebody during the commercial break, and I want to point out to people at home is, the reality about hospitals and doctors is we're not allowed to make mistakes. We make mistakes, and it has profound consequences. And this is just, I think, an example of that, is that they might have made a mistake, or they weren't listening, or there's some sort of bureaucratic sort of steamroller underway. And it harmed Heather, did it not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? My profession's the same way. We get paid to win, and you get paid to save lives. And the reality of it is we can't have an off day. I can't have an off day as a lawyer, and unfortunately not. But this isn't about doctors. This is a bereavement team. And this one particular woman that we mentioned in the lawsuit was really pushy about wanting to send these photographs. So she said no. Heather said no, like more than once. She said no repeatedly. No, I do not want these. And they were still sent. It's the classic example of somebody dropped the ball, and unfortunately somebody like Heather was severely harmed and hurt by it.
Heather, I want to ask you, boy, I have a hard time even talking to you about it because it must just be so painful. Do you feel like giving the case over to Eric is giving you some sort of, I don't know, opportunity for closure, an opportunity to protect other women from similar experiences? I mean, what are you going through with all this? Or is it just something that's keeping this thing alive and you're just going through misery every day because of it?
It doesn't matter if I had handled it before I handed it over to Eric or not. I have the same feelings now as I did before. It's not made it any worse now. It's something I live with every day. These photographs should not be allowed to be taken without a parent's permission, and it needs to be stopped.
I think, Eric,
I want justice.
I think, Eric, I assume they, and by the way, I want to point out that we're still looking at pictures of Joey when he was alive here.
Okay.
I'm assuming the hospital has taken action because these are reasonable requests, right?
Yes. Yes, the hospital, after meeting with them, apologized and did all of those things and said, we're sorry that this happened. We don't want this to happen again. The problem is that she still has this sense of her harm that she wants some vindication for. And my experiences in representing people is they go through a phase of pain, denial, and then anger. And I think she's in the angry stage, to be candid with you. But you know what? I think that what will come from all of this is a change. And you have to look in the backdrop. In Cincinnati, this is very strange. We've had a necrophiliac case coming out of the Hamilton County morgue. We recently had a case where there were photographs taken, staged in the morgue here in Hamilton County.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so hold on.
Sure.
Heather, I want you to put your fingers in your ears for a second. I really don't want you to listen to me because do you think this is something that's really part of that, Eric? Do you think this is really something horrible?
No. What I'm saying
is... Okay, Heather, you can talk to us again. She's still got her finger in her ear.
In the backdrop of this is what I'm trying to say is here in the Cincinnati area, we've had some bizarre things like this happen. That has no relationship at all to what happened to Heather, but it's kind of a weird backdrop of what we've had here in Cincinnati.
Well, I guess what I've learned is I won't be visiting Cincinnati anytime soon. I'm not sure.
It's actually, Cincinnati, by the way, Cincinnati's a wonderful city.
Yeah, I know it is. I've been there several times. And this is just one of those unfortunate... Listen, here's what it boils down to for me, is that, the more you stick a bureaucracy between a patient and their caretakers, the more likely you are to have little mistakes that end up in big pain. And Heather, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that this thing has stayed open for you, that this wound is still not closed. And I hope you are able to feel satisfied and get some closure with this. But I'm just so sorry for you. You didn't deserve this.
Thank you.
And Eric, thank you for helping her out. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless you.